正解。
Rebirth of the Malicious Empress of Military Lineage, Chapter 126, Scare You to Death. When the arrow was shot, everyone at the hall held their breath with rapt attention, and those timid female guests would directly cover their eyes, fearing to see the scene. The ministers were all very clear in their hearts, that no matter how vicious this princess of the Ken country was, she would not shot a general's daughter to death on Ming-Chi's soil in front of everyone. But it was one thing to know it in one's heart, and another thing to see it with one's eyes. They were only onlookers but already felt their heart rapidly beating, so how would it be for Shen Miao? Shen Miao quietly watched and did not even close her eyes at all, but looking seriously at the arrow that was sweeping towards her, as if she wanted to see the entire arrow clearly. But when it fell into others' eyes, it became unswerving steadiness. The arrow gave a Ziyu sound but lightly passed, just by a small difference, by Shen Miao's head, narrowly avoiding that red apple. Shen Qiu, who was sitting, suddenly felt relieved, and Xin Zin's and Lu Zuyan's clenched hands slightly loosened. Feng Anning and Lu Tan patted their chests while Lu Ling picked the cup of tea in front of him, and drank a sip to hide his concerned expression. The entire hall was silent. Huang Fuhao was originally smiling, but gradually became unable to smile anymore. Princess Ming An waited for a while, but did not hear any cheers or mockery against Shen Miao from the crowd, and a bad feeling raised in her heart. She pulled the black cloth away from her eyes and saw that opposite of her, the apple on Shen Miao's shoulder was still safe and sound, and her arrow fell slightly away. The purple-clad young female did not have a messy hair and her clothes were still intact without any trace of panic. She just looked at her lightly. Your Princess Highness's hand had slipped and did not hit the target. Did not hit the target. That sentence was said extremely mildly, but it seemed to contain the highest form of ridicule, so hot that it made Princess Ming An's cheeks feel painful. But after being stunned for that moment, Princess Ming An quickly reacted. She looked at Shen Miao and said angrily, "You must have moved just now." "It is you that moved." Ben Gong have never missed before. If you did not move, how would Ben Gong not hit the target? Everyone did not expect that this Princess Ming An would suddenly create trouble, and even the Emperor showed his displeasure. Is the princess saying that the hundreds of people in this banquet are covering up for young Lady Shen? Shen Miao stood straight and did not avoid or evade from the beginning to end, even though one did not know it was an act or real. If it was real, then everyone under heavens would be enchanted for a female with such courage. No matter how Emperor Wenhua fear the Shen family, they were at the end Ming-Chi's people, and he as the Ming-Chi's emperor, how could he let a princess of the Ken country indiscriminately sneer at Shen Miao in front of him? One fear that if he indulged Princess Ming An's nonsense today, tomorrow the prestige this emperor had with all the officials would plummet. Princess Ming An felt grievances in her head and she looked at Huang Fuhao. Huang Fuhao looked at her with a grim face and Princess Ming An quivered. She dare not look at Huang Fuhao again, and instead turned to look at Prince Ruai, who was standing at the side before speaking delicately. "Did your Highness?" Prince Ruai saw clearly if the young lady of Shen family avoided it. When she was speaking, Princess Ming An softened her voice as her eyes focused on Prince Ruai, making everyone felt that it was somewhat unnatural. Prince Ruai's lips hooked up. "No." Princess Ming An was surprised for a moment. "Your Highness, Prince Ruai is saying that Shen Miao did not evade it? Are you questioning this prince's eyes?" Prince Ruai retorted. He looked exceptionally charming, that was enough to break one's heart. But when his voice became cold, it made others feel a pressing chill, and one would not dare to look straight. Princess Ming An jumped in shock but then saw Shen Miao facing her while smiling gently. "Your Princess Highness, one must accept the lose upon an agreement to bet, or is it? Your Princess Highness cannot afford to lose." "Impudent!" Princess Ming An screamed. She suddenly saw the angry gazes that were on her from the surroundings. Before understanding that this was the Ming-Chi and her screams to Shen Miao had caused public outrage, she looked at Shen Miao and sneered. "It is not that Ben Gong cannot afford to lose, but you should not be too happy too soon. Ben Gong did not hit the target, but can you hit it?" Princess Ming An was angry as her archery skills had reached the stage of perfection. Moreover, This bow was one that she had used since young and today's blindfolded archery. Princess Ming'an had played it for many years in the Qin country, and there had been no slip-ups before. She initially wanted to give some difficulties to Shen Miao, to give the Shen family a lesson for being rude and shoot open Shen Miao's clothes when she shot through the apple, to make her lose face. It was such an easy task, but why at the crucial time it did not hit the target? And under the watchful eyes of everyone, Shen Miao did not dodge, which make her unsure where the problem was at. One came out in elation to compete, but the result was that not only Shen Miao was not disgraced, one did not hit the target. If those princesses and princes knew about it, they would also laugh at her. Thinking of that, Princess Ming'an hated and resented Shen Miao even more. Shen Miao looked at Princess Ming'an's actions and her heart went slightly cold. In her previous lifetime she had stayed in the Qin country for 5 years, and had been in contact with this princess of the Qin country for that time. Shen Miao understood clearer than anyone else what kind of character this Princess Ming'an had. Princess Ming'an loved to make fun of her like this, playing an archery game in front of a big crowd. One arrow would undo her hair, one arrow to open up her robes, and occasionally accidentally brush past her body. When Princess Ming'an pulled the bow open, she already knew what intention Princess Ming'an had, and which angle the arrow would be coming from to where would it ended up at. How could she not be clear after a scene had repeated numerous of times? She simply tilted her shoulder ever so slightly and let the arrow coincidentally brush by her. No one would believe Princess Ming'an's words, just like at the beginning no one would believe Shen Miao's words. Being wronged, misunderstood, shamed were what this precious and respected princess had to experience herself. Of course, it was not limited to this. Shen Miao held that bright red apple and smiled. "It is my turn, so may your Princess Highness bite this apple in your mouth." At the beginning, all the audiences were still subtly talking about the matter, but when they heard what Shen Miao said, in a moment silence fell. Princess Ming'an stared wide-eyed at Shen Miao incredulously. "What did you say?" Her voice was even more sharper because of the panic, and it was also somewhat hoarse. Shen Miao smiled as she looked at her, and there was some innocence in her eyes as she spoke. "Did not your Princess Highness said that his is the Great Qin's playing rules? The person shooting will determine where the fruit will be placed. Your Princess Highness wanted the fruit to be placed on this official daughter's shoulder, and this official daughter placed it there. Now," she smiled magnanimously, "if your Princess Highness is scared, then it is possible to change it to another person." It was still alright if she did not say this sentence, but once it was said, Princess Ming'an was so angry that she could flip people and horses. By changing to another person, it was saying that she, Princess Ming'an, was timid and could not afford to lose. So would not this be like losing one's face to everyone in the Mingqi, the Great Liang and the Qin country? Yi Peilan sucked in a breath of cold air and said to Shen Yu, "Is she crazy? How could she dare to go against Princess Ming'an?" Originally during the academy examinations, Shen Miao confronted Kai Lin and relied that Xin Zin's official position was not lower than Kai Daren's. But now one was facing a princess of another country, and Shen Miao also dared to provoke. This was beyond everyone's expectations. Kai Lin and Kai Daren looked at one another and smiled bitterly. Initially they thought that Shen Miao was directly opposing him, but now Shen Miao did not even care about a princess of another country. So what else could be said? Over at the prince's area, there were also signs of wonderment. Prince Li smiled profoundly. "This young lady of the Shen family can really hold a grudge." Princess Ming'an stared fixedly at Shen Miao, but Shen Miao only gave a shallow smile when facing her sharp eyes. In desperation, Princess Ming'an could only look at Huang Fuhao for help. Huang Fuhao lightly coughed, and was somewhat angry at Shen Miao for not appreciating favors. Princess Ming'an represents the Great Qin, so he could not let Princess Ming'an unsatisfied. He looked at Emperor Wenhu and swept a glance at Shen Miao. "It is only a game, so why is the young lady of the Mingqi this unwilling to overlook and spare?" Emperor Wenhu looked at the Shen family's people. Xin Zin and Lu Zuyan were busy with drinking their tea, as if they did not hear the words before. Shen Kaiyu and Lu Ling looked calmly and unruffled above one's head. but did not show their stand. Feng and Ning and Lu Tan were staring at Princess Ming and with an indignant look in their eyes. The Shen family's attitude was very clear. They did not intend to forget about it and clearly marked Princess Ming, and there was anger in Shen Zin's stomach, as just now Shen Miao was aggressively forced by Princess Ming until she had no way out. So now naturally it would be Princess Ming and turn to have a taste of it. Do not do to others what one would not have them do to one. When Princess Ming was scheming against others, she should have thought about the taste of others scheming against her. Since the Shen family had been placed to where the wind and waves were the fiercest, and since the Qin country's people in the beginning targeted the Shen family, then what qualms did they need to have? When Shen Zin got temperamental, he was one who thinks that the barefooted would not be afraid of those wearing shoes, that even if today one were to shoot Princess Ming and to death, then let it go with it. When Emperor Wenhua saw Shen Zin's attitude, he understood in his heart Shen Zin was one who shielded one's shortcomings. Moreover, this was related to Shen Miao. Since Shen Zin wanted to be the target, then Emperor Wenhua would be glad to see him happy. Moreover, he too did not like the arrogance of Princess Ming, and that she did not even place the Ming Qi in her eyes. He planned to cut Princess Ming an arrogance, so he smiled and spoke to Huang Fu Hao. This is a game between children, so the crown prince need not be that worried. Since they are playing happily, naturally Zan will not stop them. Huang Fu Hao did not expect that the Shen family were actually that difficult of snags, and also did not expect that Emperor Wenhua, the sly old fox, would sit on top of a mountain to watch the tigers fight, so for the moment he had no ideas. Moreover, the Ming Qi's officials gradually got bolder and began to whisper, if one were to reject it then the Qin country's face would be gone. He warningly glanced at Princess Ming-an. Ming-an, since it was you who brought it out, then play with young Lady Shen till the end. He then glanced at Shen Miao and said meaningfully, since young Lady Shen is playing, she would definitely not hurt you. The unspoken implication was, that if there was any unexpected misfortune with Princess Ming, Shen Miao would definitely need to pay the price. Shen Miao only smiled when she heard such threatening words. Rest assured, Your Princess Highness, since we have not signed the life and death agreement, this official's daughter will definitely not hurt Your Princess Highness. The more she said so, the more uneasy Princess Ming felt. But now she had ridden a tiger, it was hard to get off, so she could only do as Shen Miao said. As she walked to the other side, Princess Ming's eyes were like knives, stabbing into Shen Miao's body. She suddenly thought about something and her eyes brightened as she smiled. But young Lady Shen, Ben Gong's bow is not something that can be pulled by anyone. One fear that you. Before the three words cannot pull apart were spoken, one saw Shen Miao easily pull the bow apart. It was different from Princess Ming's strenuous pull. Shen Miao's pulled the bow extremely gracefully and easily, as if this bow had been with her for decades and she was extremely skilled. She smiled as she looked at Princess Ming, and said lightly as she faced Princess Ming's unbelievable gaze, "Good bow, I can use Your Princess Highness's bow without any trouble." "Many thanks." She waved and instructed the maid to tie the black cloth across her eyes. Just as the maid was about to move, one saw Prince Ruai pick up the black cloth on the maid's tray and played with it. Everyone looked at him with surprise, as Prince Ruai walked to Shen Miao's back and reached out from behind to hold her chin to raise her head up slightly, as his other hand wound the black cloth across Shen Miao's eyes. Lu Tan stared wide-eyed and pulled Feng and Ning. What is the meaning of this?" Lu Tan was not the only one curious about this action of Prince Ruai's. Even Emperor Wenhua, who was sitting at the highest seat, frowned, and Princess Ming looked at Shen Miao with jealousy and eyes filled with killing intent. Shen Miao's line of sight was blocked. Thus she was unable to see anything and could only feel that the actions of the person behind were gentle, but the fingertips were cold, and they inadvertently touched Shen Miao's cheeks, just like snow kissing one's clothes. There was a light coolness feeling, but one did not know why the places that were touched started to warm up. Shen Miao waited till there was no actions from the person behind, before facing towards Princess Ming and pulled the bow with an arrow. Everyone were holding their breath as they watched her actions, and could not help but feel nervous in their hearts. Some people secretly complained why did Shen Miao made it as such, and let Princess Ming'an bit the apple in her mouth, as this would humiliate Princess Ming'an. This also meant that if Shen Miao was not careful, she would harm Princess Ming'an and even lose her life. If the Qin country's princess loses her life in the Mingqi, the Qin country would not let it go, and even if Shen Miao paid it with her life, it would not be enough, and it would also implicate the entire Mingqi. In order to ensure that Princess Ming'an was safe and sound, one would need to deliberately shoot aside, but like that, the Mingqi would be embarrassed. It was assumed that unless Shen Miao shot the apple in Princess Ming'an's mouth, then it would be a clean and wonderful win. But this was an almost impossible thing. Huang Fuhao stared at Shen Miao. Others were not clear of it, but Princess Ming'an was his younger sister, thus he naturally knew clearly how heavy Princess Ming'an's bow was. An ordinary female would not be able to pull that bow apart, and even those with some martial arts skills, disregarding females, even males would have to break in the bow for a period of time before it was possible. But just now Shen Miao deliberately pulled the bow a little. That skilled and familiar gestures and calm expression made others suspicious that she had touched this bow countless number of times, as she could handle it with ease. But this was simply impossible. This was Princess Ming'an's first time to the Mingqi, and it was also Shen Miao's first time touching this bow. Huang Fuhao's heart suddenly became interested, as though as he had seen a new toy in Shen Miao, and his gaze became deeper. Shen Miao was totally unaware of this, as she closed her eyes and her hands gently stroked the flower patterns and every subtle scratches on the heavy bow. Exactly the same as the previous lifetime, she had touched this bow countless number of times. When Princess Ming'an had shooted her till she was in a sorry state, she would always then magnanimously pass the bow to her. "It is your turn." Actually, Shen Miao had secretly practiced numerous times, and she could make a hit, but every time, she would still deliberately shot slightly away, and those princes and princess of Qin country would laugh so much that they could not lift their heads. This was because she was a hostage and should be compromising. Since she was living under another person's roof, one could not be arrogant or despotic. Even if she could win, she had to lose, and lose in a way that Princess Ming'an would be happy about, so that there would be a chance for her to return alive to see Fu Ming and Wan Yu. Those were the most difficult years, and this bow, with the same simple flower patterns, was engraved on the bottom of her heart. The silent endurance that she had done since the last lifetime till now, finally could be played out officially. She was not the Empress of Mingqi, and could freely make things difficult for Princess Ming'an without qualms, just like how Princess Ming'an did to her. She said, "Will bother your Princess Highness to please not dodge." Finishing, her hand loosened and the almost fully bent bow gave a bing sound, and the arrow fiercely shot towards Princess Ming'an like a meteor. Princess Ming'an was so scared that her eyes flashed. That arrow came so fast, and even though she wanted to avoid it, she simply just could not do it on time before she felt a burst of pain at her mouth. That arrow suddenly appeared so near in front of her eyes. She wanted to scream but was unable since she was biting the apple. Then her body weakened and she collapsed. The palace maid behind her quickly held her, as Huang Fuhao stood up suddenly with a darkened expression. Sighs of wonderment sounded everywhere in the great hall. But Shen Miao just calmly removed the black cloth that was strapped across her eyes, and walked in front of the fainted Princess Ming'an and picked up the apple on Princess Ming'an's mouth. On top of the red apple, the head of the arrow was buried halfway, leaving most of the arrow outside. It would not pierce Princess Ming'an's throat but made everyone see clearly. "It is a hit." Seemed that this official's daughter's luck is good. Fortunately, it was a hit. She smiled. With a hua sound, the entire hall suddenly sighed in wonderment. The officials of Mingqi were first stunned, before being so happy that their faces were all red, and begun to clap with their hands. There was someone who said, "The father is a lion, the daughter cannot be a dog." It was Princess Ming'an who came out with this archery competition, and Shen Miao had no way out and could only accept it. But at the end it was Princess Ming'an who did not hit the target while Shen Miao shot the target, and Princess Ming'an was so scared that she fainted. With one look, one would know who was strong or weak. Even if Emperor Wenhua was suspicious of the Shen family, now that Shen Miao had one face for him this time, and made the Ken country people bear their stifle, Emperor Wenhua was currently very pleased. He looked at Shenzin. "General Shen, you have raised a good daughter." Shenzin cupped his hands and dare not accept the praise. Shen Miao stood at the middle of the hall, as a slight wind blew and blew her skirt slightly up, like blooming flowers. She quietly stared as the maids supported Princess Ming'an down, and had lots of emotions in her eyes, but when she turned her head, her eyes met with Prince Rui's eyes. Unable to see what kind of expression there was under the mask, the male's gaze was warm yet cool, and it made others somewhat confused. One did not know if he smiled or not, as he glanced at Shen Miao before sitting down at the noble guests area. Huang Fuhao was conscientious that he had lost face on the matter, but did not know how to restore it. This incident was sudden and it started from Princess Ming'an, but now for it to progress to such a state, Shen Miao could not resolve her involvement. Looking at Shen Miao, Huang Fuhao coldly snorted, "Did not think that young lady Shen have such skills." Shen Miao lowered her head and returned back to her seat. She was always gentle and harmless, but she obviously was not lenient during archery and was overflowing with viciousness, and now she had a dignified attitude, as if those wordplay matters were not related to her. She was so noble and majestic that if she were to say some exasperated words in such an attitude, the reasoning would be at her side, and others would not be able to say anything. "Shen Miao, just now you are really..." Feng Anning pulled her hands. "If you were a male, I would marry you. It is sure delightful to requite injury with injury and avenge a grievance." Lu Tan also said, "Be our youngest sister, I knew that you are one that would not let others bully you freely." When in the Zhaochun city, the Lu family's people knew what kind of temper Shen Miao had. The weak could be bullied, only the blind would think so. Shen Miao's eyes hang down. Everyone thought she held a grudge because Princess Ming'an kept pressuring, so she retaliated. Little had others imagined that the arrow of hers had a hatred that she held in her last lifetime. Facing people who had deep thoughts like Fu Ziyu, naturally one need to plan and scheme each and every step. As for people like Princess Ming'an, if one did not return the humiliation suffered in her past life, one would be sorry for the rebirth in this lifetime. There were people that one need to endure, and some people that one need not endure would also come knocking. She had to act carefully, but some things would always be consistent. With family protecting, with the bargaining chips in her hands, why would one not dare to go against Princess Ming'an? Otherwise, it would be her face that would be slapped. Lu Ling, handing a cup of hot tea over, warmly asked, "Is Biao's youngest sister all right?" "It is nothing," she answered with a small smile. She perceived that there was a pair of eyes that fell onto her. She then looked around but did not see that anyone was looking over, and thus thought it was her imagination. At the noble guests area, the youth with a mask flexed his fingers and played with the wine cup in front of him. The white jade thumb ring was slightly glowing. No one expected that in the midway of a perfectly fine banquet, there would be such an incident. But at the very beginning it was Princess Ming'an that started everything. Moreover, Shenzin had just returned back to the capital to be reinstated in his position, and with that unyielding attitude and Shen Miao's beautiful win with that one arrow, they were the limelight in this Ming Qi's tribute banquet. No matter what the ending was, Shenzin's high profile made one feel some fear. At the prince's area of the banquet, Fu Ziyuyi's expression had been calm from the very beginning, but at the end he became quiet and would look towards Shenzin from time to time. He also occasionally looked past Shenzin to stop at the quiet young lady clad in purple. It was not just her. There were a lot of eyes that were sizing Shen Miao up. There were talented youths who felt that Shen Miao was attractive, and naturally there were people like Huang Fuhao who made one feel uncomfortable. Later, even a careless person like Lu Tan also noticed this and said, "Why is everyone looking at Biao's youngest sister? Do not even let the other eat?" Lu Ling smiled and said to Shen Miao, "Biao's younger sister, change seats with me." Lu Ling's seating position was slightly inside, and when Shen Miao changed position with him, since Lu Ling had a tall stature he could block her, and also block some of the inquiring eyes, making one feel much more comfortable. Till the end of the tribute banquet, nothing else happened. Huang Fuhao left halfway, and said that he would be going to take a look at Princess Ming'an, who fainted in fright. Naturally no one stopped him, but everybody were well aware that after a few days, Princess Ming'an would hate Shen Miao. Even though Shen Miao had Shen Zin's protection, it would be easy for Princess Ming'an to find a reason to make things difficult for Shen Miao. Everyone who was gazing at Shen Miao unconsciously had a trace of sympathy. Only Shen Yu and entourage felt more comforted when looking at Shen Miao. Most likely, Shen Wan wanted to get closer to Shen Zin, since he was reinstated and was invited back by Emperor Wenhu. Thus it would not be good for the relationship between brothers to be in a deadlock. Regrettably, this time Shen Zin had his mind set and did not even preserve a cordial attitude to Shen Wan, and had no intention to even greet. When everyone saw this, their hearts understood. Previously, when Shen Zin was forced to leave the capital, the news about separating from the Shen family was known to the entire capital city. One only knew about adding flowers on brocade and sending charcoal on snowy weather. Now that Shen Zin made a comeback, Shen Wan come over to greet. Any other half-blooded male would also ignore. In the matter of cleaning things up, Shen Zin had the first chance to set it straight. Shen Wan was not affectionate, and since Shen Zin did not acknowledge, he did not go up to mingle. The two brothers seemed to be like strangers. After the banquet, some of Shen Zin's old colleagues came over to greet, while Lu Zuyan brought Shen Miao out to wait for the horse carriage to come over first. Lu Tan bounced around as she walked in front. Feng Anning had already followed Feng Furan back earlier on, while Lu Ling and Shen Kaiyu walked at the back. After crossing an official gate, the horse carriage that Shen Zin arranged was at the side. Shen Miao turned her head and saw that in front of the long palace corridor, a slender figure was slowly approaching. Before one could see clearly the appearance of that person, with the lights of the lanterns, one was able to see a silver mask. The ends of the robes, that were embroidered with gold threads, were particularly clear at night. Even though one was unable to see what the pattern was in such a short amount of time, one felt it was extraordinarily gorgeous. Shen Miao carefully looked as that youth walked to some distance away from Shen Miao, before stopping and slightly turning his head. One was not sure if he was looking over. Shen Miao quietly looked at him. In the night, the long corridor of the palace looked dark and hidden away, but this person was filled with the brilliance of the moon. As he stepped into the shadow of the swaying tree, one did not know what expression he had on, but it was as bewitching as a painting. He slowly extended his hands and slightly flexed his fingers, before tapping 3 times on the pillar of the palace gates. Shen Kaiyu and Lu Ling discovered that Shen Miao did now follow along. Shen Kaiyu walked over to Shen Miao's front and asked, "Younger sister, what are you looking at?" "Nothing." Shen Miao recovered from her senses and spoke. "Go and wait in the horse carriage first. The winds outside is big, lest catch a cold." Lu Ling gently and warmly said. Shen Miao nodded her head and lifted her leg to head over to the horse carriage, but she suddenly stopped and turned around to look at that long corridor. The moonlight at the corridor was like water, and the spray of flowers on the floor was intoxicating as wind blew, which made the flower branches tremble. There was no silhouette in the empty long corridor, as if everything just now was just an illusion. Lu Tan's soft urging voice sounded, and Shen Miao turned around and raised her skirt to enter the carriage.